Sabarad is now with us. Mahantesh, what do you make of the first take on this big bank that has declared numbers?
So I think it's a very positive development. I think two things Mr. Sobti stressed upon is that their capitalization has actually strengthened quarter on quarter from 14.2 or 14.28% to 16.8. That's good news. The second bit of good news he talked of was the 7.5 million customers of Bharat Finance being onboarded. I think these strengthen the business profile for IndusInd Bank as we go forward, and as far as the results is concerned, there's nothing material in it to disappoint anyone. In fact, from a quarter-on-quarter perspective, you had some discussion about the provision coverage ratio going down. I don't have that number, but then let me put a perspective that in quarter 4 the company took excess provisions related to ILFS, and therefore it has to be viewed from that prism to really comment upon that. To me, it's a strong set of results. If you're growing income at 28, income is growing at 32%, balance sheet growth is 28%. Those by itself are very strong numbers.
Okay, that's IndusInd for you today. Mahantesh, do you feel that this is probably, an indication of what we may expect overall when it comes to some of the key banks this time around?
So, from the bank's perspective, one should remember that we are coming off a low base, both sequentially as well as from a year-on-year perspective, especially on the asset quality side. Many of the banks have also posted either losses in the past or very poor set of profit numbers, and coming off that base, this quarter would see significant jump in terms of not just profits but also the significant reduction in provisions and general trend towards strengthening of the balance sheet, coupled with the fact that some of the banks will go in for capital infusion. I guess post this result season you should see the BFSI sector actually doing really well.
Okay, Mahantesh, wanted to get in your view on the defense space as well. We don't have too many players with the likes of BEML, etc., or even, names with like L&T, Ashok Leyland with a defense play. Given the kind of thrust that we've seen by the government, given the kind of orders that these companies have been winning of late, is there some merit within these names?
No, I don't think defense is a significant mover for some of these businesses that you named, such as Bharat Forge or an Ashok Leyland or even an L&T, because these companies drive their own set of businesses and defense is not necessarily the core business for them. Having said that, yes, incremental orders that they are taking in will be useful for growth ahead. As far as the government's own defense companies which have been listed are concerned, one would prefer to look at those companies who have not just a high order backlog but steady delivery in terms of turnover growth. Some of these companies are indeed delivering strong growth, but not material enough for investors to really notice. Having said that, I think there's another problem with some of the government companies is that the government itself is doing a lot of divestment through successive rounds of ETF and so on and so forth. That's putting a little bit of pressure on some of these stocks. So to answer your question on defense in general, while it's incrementally good, we don't see that as moving the needle for many of the stocks.
Right. What do you make of the rates in the system which have come down? Do you think that itself will provide a support to a lot of stocks which are growing?
So, sorry, Pankaj, I didn't get, you mentioned what rates?
The 10-year GSEC, the overall rates. Do you think that itself will provide a support to valuations?
Yes, indeed it can, because they are quite interlinked. But the moot point is, market is now getting, let's say, hungry for growth. For quite some time, we haven't seen growth per se. either in the earnings on the top line, and any company which will be able to deliver on that front is something which will be taken up by the markets irrespective of where the valuations are.
All right, Mahantesh, appreciate you taking the time out and joining in, giving us that take on your market outlook.